0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
What up? Joe here with Inside the HumV podcast. Got Ray.
What up?
America. So it's raining outside today. You can tell the HumV is not the most dry. Look at, we got a little bit of a leak. Just a little bit.
Oh, leaky.
Yeah, that's not too bad. All right.
You know what they say, if it's not raining, you ain't training, buddy.
Ain't raining, you ain't training. Might want to take a couple of these paper towels here and stick it up in the corner right here. This here, to everyone who's watching, is preventative maintenance. Because if not, then water's gonna fling up in those corners because the seals are all old and shitty. So that there's the most high-tech way to mitigate that problem. I need to throw a little WD-40 on my injector spring. It's getting a little sticky.
Man, this does remind me of being in the military. Riding around a HumV, in the rain.
It's called exposure therapy. Let's turn a little bit of that defrost on. See what happens.
Stay warm, buddy, stay warm.
Yeah. One thing you can always count on in a HumV, dude, it's either too hot or too cold.
Yeah, there's no in between. I don't care, I'd rather take rain over sandstorms any day. Your door flew open.
Oh, that's like perfect timing.
Eating food in the HumV, bro.
I'm with Ray right now.
Cheers.
We just came up to get some pizza and cans of chaw.
Heck yeah. In other words, you went to go get cans of chaw and saw the pizza was there.
Yes, exactly. All right, now that we're done with our little break time,
Started off with a bang.
start off with a bang or full throttle.
I love putting those rippets in my drop pouch. Nothing like taking a tactical detour.
All right,
Oh, muddy roads, don't take me home.
on the muddy road.
Down the road.
Let's open this bad boy up. Let me move some of this shit. Yeah. Like a broken kitten. I have my little notepad here. Oh, get some. All right. Kaplink. Radio check. 1, 2. Look, like a little mount right here would actually be pretty sweet. Hold on 1 second, I'm gonna record you. Give me a clap. Being in the HumV.
Feel good.
Is good?
Yep, just living the American dream.
Nice. Let's do a little episode, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, welcome back to Inside the HumV podcast. I'm your host, Joe Plowski, and I'm here with a Marine brother of mine that I served in the Marine Corps with pretty much the entire time I was in for the most part. And, you know, we're just good friends and combat brothers, and we're going to tell some pretty cool stories today. So this is my guest, Ray Pyle, the original, you know, I guess not the original, the Pyle 2.0. So what's up, brother?
I'm the third. Yeah. I'm just third in life. Doing good, man. How you doing?
Good. So all right, we're going to start off the podcast. Obviously, we always bullshit and hang out and stuff, but right now I'm just going to say, tell me about yourself before you joined the military, like where you're from and all that.
Okay, well, I grew up in Grayling, Michigan, with my dad and my mom. They got a divorce, and then I just lived with my dad and make trips with my mom. And then graduated in 1999 from Grayling High School, where I played sports. I wrestled, played baseball. And then in 2001, after I graduated high school, I went and worked at Cedar Point. And then
Ooh, what'd you do at Cedar Point, dude?
I was a lifeguard there. Just hung out, like directed, was like on the slides. Got the darkest I ever had in my life, man. That was back when I was like Slim Shady and stuff. Like I sat down there, I bleached my head, so I had
busting out raps.
I had like yellow hair and stuff, cause trying to blonde it, dark hair,
Yeah.
blonde.
Might be easier these days. You got enough gray in there.
Yeah, well, I ain't the Slim Shady no
works.
more, man. But and then after that, 9/11 happened when I was working at Cedar Point, which was crazy, and because like I had all like working at Cedar Point, there's a bunch of like foreigners over there and stuff. So when after that got done, I was like, wow, like I need to like do something. And then in 2001, after I got done working at Cedar Point, I met Michelle, started dating Michelle. Well, I didn't meet her. I met her in high school, but we started dating in November 19th of 2001. We got married June 2nd of 2006 before we left for Iraq.
So, what was it like when you guys met after September 11th happened?
No, I met Michelle before that. I met her in high school.
Oh yeah, you met her in high school. But so
Right.
what was it like then after September 11th? What made you decide to go sign up for the Marine Corps?
Well, maybe something like I just sat down there and didn't like how America was going and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I need to do something. Plus, I wanted to prove to Michelle's parents that I could do something. So I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to be with Michelle for a long time. So I was like, you know what? Join the Marine Corps. And then everyone's like, no, you're not going to want to join the Marine Corps, man. And I'm like, why? They're going, it's because your last name. And I'm like, I'll get over it. We'll do better.
I'll get over it.
So, but yeah, it was just like I sat down there and I just wanted to join the Marine Corps because fucking...
So what happened then when you joined? When did you go into boot camp?
I went in boot camp in 2003. In April, I left for boot camp. Went to SOI. And then after SOI, I went to Bravo Company 124.
So in boot camp, what was your first experience in boot camp like when they figured out your name?
Well, it wasn't that bad. Like I have to, like everyone sits down there, like man. But like the drill instructors I had, they never mess with me like that. Like they did once in a while, but my drill instructors were kind of cool and stuff. Like I had like yeah, they were kind of cool, but you know what? You can't be cool all the time because you got to be on these guys and stuff, and knuckleheads run around and stuff. You got to get all there, and so.
Yep.
So I can't badmouth my drill instructors because they're the ones.
Because they might see this someday.
Maybe.
They'll sneak into your house and just wake you up. Like, ah! Sometimes I wish a drill instructor could wake me up in the morning and make me do push-ups.
No, I don't want to do that.
Well, just because it's like...
Maybe going back like 20, 30 years, I'd want to do it, but not now.
No, but I need it more now.
Well, then you get up and you motivate yourself.
I know.
So drill instructors, anybody that was with Joe, come over and start yelling at him in the morning.
Yeah, I remember Staff Sergeant El Zalde. Platoon 1158.
3091. Our senior drill instructor was Staff Sergeant Allen, and then I had Staff Sergeant Stanton, and then I had Staff Sergeant Rogers, and then I had Sergeant Henry, and then I had Staff Sergeant Shaw.
I always like to. I wish I could get in touch with a lot of the guys I was in boot camp with, just because I wonder what happened to them. Because I know a lot of them went over to Iraq in the beginning of the war, like especially around the 2004 time frame when they were there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's
those
weird.
Guys.
It's weird joining in like 2003, and then we come to our unit, and they were in Iraq. Well, they were in Iraq. I think they were in Kuwait when we joined.
They were in Kuwait when we joined. Yep.
And then they got back, and then we sat down there, and then they got back, and then we got to go on a cool little trip to Poland.
Yeah, that was crazy. So that was in 2004.
Yeah. Because
it was right after Devin was born. And, we went over to Poland with Bravo 124 out of Michigan. And because a lot of people don't understand, too, we were in the reserves in Michigan, and our unit was activated, and we were deployed to Fallujah, Iraq in 2006. So
like our little AT we had was like an AT, and we got to go to Poland.
That was crazy because we were with the Russians, the Germans, like Lithuanians, a couple other ones, but That was crazy. It was like
Oh,
an
yeah.
awesome training, but at the same time, just kind of a drunk fest. Really, I just got drunk a lot.
Man, it was like a big old frat party, I believe. Like we sat down there, it was so crazy because like our unit and stuff, like the Marines, we were right next to like the Germans, and the Germans were like doing cooking grill out and stuff, and then they had like next thing you know, we started trading MREs for beer.
Yep.
Because the Germans somehow get issued beer in the military.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Like,
What's up with that, Pete Hegseth? Can you change that? Get some. He's like, no, that's the last thing. That's the last thing we need in our military. The Marine Corps would be tapping out the whole entire defense budget.
I think the military didn't even drink out Poland when we were over there. Remember we had all those, they had like all this big old party at the end for us. And like one of the guys was racing like the German officer.
It was I think Klingman.
Oh yeah.
He was we're like, Klingman. He was racing. This guy was like 60-year-old Russian officer, and they ran around the track. Klingman stopped and just started barfing everywhere.
Yeah, man. That's the first time I've seen an officer like that, man. Like,
Remember he did that one-arm pull-up too?
yeah, that's the first time I've seen something like that. Plus, we learned something too, like the Russians.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
The Russians, they can't drink in their first thing. Because like we were sitting down there and we put our hand in some guy because we were trying to do our shoe, and some Russian officer came by and just hit the Russian guy.
No, because I handed him my beer. I said I needed to grab something. I was like, here, hold this. And he was holding my beer, and the Russian officer came and punched him in the face. And I went to like grab my beer as he was getting punched in the face. And I was like, because we were trading shit.
Yeah, he was just trying to be a nice guy. Yeah,
That was
and
funny.
then 04, and then we go, and then 05 we did just train, and then we got activated in 05 to start to go to Iraq in 06.
When you found out we were getting deployed to Fallujah, Iraq, what was your first kind of thinking, and how'd you kind of prepare yourself a little bit?
Well, first I was like, oh man, this is real. This is happening. And then I sat down there and I was talking with Matthijs, because me and Matthijs were always hanging out and stuff, and he decided that he was going overseas with me.
Rest in peace, brother.
Because, yep. I gotta crack that one for you, Pete.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's been like when he passed away like 9 years ago, I started working for Ace. So this one's for you, Pete.
Yep, non-alcoholic. What is
Oh.
that? Is that an energy? Is that
That's an energy drink. That's the one of those like Zoos.
a little Zohan?
Yeah,
Little Zohan?
I guess like the Rock, you know, with people's champ.
Yep. So anyway,
But no, like
carry
getting
on.
back on the story, like, no, my favorite time was hanging out with Pete and stuff. Like he was fun, dude. He was a character. He was a character. Yeah. So getting back there, see that dang squirrel, man. He sits down and you start losing track of what I'm doing because that buddy, man, he just like spinning that wheel, man. I don't know. So back on the story, okay.
Pete.
Come back, squirrel.
Funny as shit.
Yeah. Well, Pete, it was like when we're getting activated. We got the orders to go activated.
Yep.
So then next thing you know, I was like, oh, this is gonna get real. And then Pete was like, dude, I'm going over with you and stuff, because Pete didn't have to go over with us
Yep.
and stuff, like, because he went on, I guess, like
Because of the way it worked with the Kuwait deployment and stuff. Yeah.
But he was like, Pyle, since you're going, I'm going with you. I can't like let you, man. We're like so close and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So me and Pete, because we always hung out, went over with me and stuff. But that guy was a character. He was trying to drive this motorcycle in Iraq and stuff and take it for a trip, and he stalled it out.
I think you showed me a video of that.
Yeah.
He was trying to ride that dude's motorcycle.
Yeah.
Remember, so tell the story about when Pete pretended like he got hit by that.
Oh,
bus.
man, it wasn't no bus. It was like this guy was just driving down the road, and like we were at this checkpoint
In Iraq.
and he was going slow over this bump. Well, Pete decided it was gonna be a funny idea if he stepped in front of it. So next thing you know, this guy's going so slow and stuff, and then Pete walks in front of it, gets hit, and falls over like he's got hit. Next thing you know, this guy jumps out of the vehicle and runs over and is like, "Oh my God, what happened?" and stuff.
I wish I could show the video of that.
Yeah, well, we let everybody know, like the Iraqi police and the Iraqi army, was going on, because when this guy jumped out, dude, he thought he was going to get in really trouble because he started crying, dude.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I
it was-
remember he's like, oh, Mr.
And then Pete tried to give him a hug at the end, and
Yeah.
like he was just joking
like, "It's
around,
fine,
and that guy
it's
was
fine."
not having it.
Oh, man, that was hilarious.
Like he wasn't We're
We're going to have to, if I can get that video from him and we'll post it on my website or something, or if we can get it on YouTube, I'll put a link to it, like, because it's a super funny video. You guys got to watch it. It is super funny. Remember when we first got into the city, like it was dark, but so what was it like for you on that first drive through the city?
Well, my first time going down there was crazy because I was with my platoon and I was going to a train station. And then next thing I know, I get to a train station and they say, Pyle, you're not with us. And it's like, what do you mean I'm not with you? They're like, no, you're supposed to be part of like a pit team or mint team or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So then they made me grab all my gear. And then I went with, I think it was the unit that we were relieving.
Yep, the 125, I think,
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
don't remember the thing, but I had to get back in a 7-ton, and they drove me back from the train station to Bahia in the back of a 7-ton with no rounds.
Oh, right after we got to the train station.
Yeah, because I was supposed to be with somebody else. So they were sitting down there, and they're like, you're not with 1st Platoon, which was weird because I was always with 1st Platoon.
So how did you end up back with 1st Platoon? Because you were...
I'm so thankful for Staff Sergeant Green.
So yeah, tell me about this. So.
Like I got stuck in
love him.
I got stuck in Bahia, and I was just walking around. I was going to get to the place on Bahia and buy like these Haji movies and stuff, and just watch them on my computer and stuff. And then I go to the chow hall. Well, one day I was walking around, and I seen Staff Sergeant Green, and I'm like, Staff Sergeant. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like they don't know what's going on here, and I'm just hanging out. So Staff Sergeant Green, thank you for getting me back.
Sergeant Major Green now?
Well, Sergeant Major Green now. Retired Sergeant Major Green.
Hoorah.
Semper Fi.
America.
This is all day.
All day.
But no, I was sitting down there, and then he got a hold of our 1st Platoon, got back to the train station, and then they brought me back, and then I got back with 1st Platoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then hung out with...
You could have technically skated your whole way through at the Sweet Chow Hall in Camp Fallujah, but
Yeah,
or
when
no, you're in Bahia.
Yeah, in Bahia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
no, that's cool though. So then when you got back to the platoon, what was like one of the first incidents you guys had in your platoon? Because we were in separate platoons, so we all had our own like areas of operation, what we were doing at the time, shit like that. So
When I first got back, our platoon was on guard, so we had guard posts. So I sat out there when I first got back. There was 4 guys out there on a post and stuff, and I got there and I found out Matthijs was on that post, and then I was like, whenever Matthijs goes to post, I'm going with Matthijs. So the other 3 guys, they can figure out what they want to do, but whenever Matthijs goes to post, I'm going to post with them, because that was my brother.
yeah,
So. And
combat buddy.
he was my combat buddy, man. He was like my little battle buddy.
Yeah.
Even though he was a crazy guy, man.
This next segment of the podcast is going to be sponsored by Dr. Micaiah McCollum. He is the owner of McCollum Insurance Group, LLC. It's a part of Michigan Farm Bureau Insurance. And he was retired from the United States Marine Corps as a major. But when we were in Fallujah, Iraq in 2006, he was just a young lieutenant. And he was a platoon commander. And he was commander of Pyle's platoon, actually, during the event where Love got injured by an IED. At the time, Lieutenant Mack, he ordered everyone to stay in the vehicles. That way he could get out, keep everyone else safe, hook up the injured vehicle or the damaged vehicle, and get it to safety. So he now is a farmer in Michigan. He produces beef. He's a family man, and he just wants to help people out with their insurance needs. So if anyone's interested in insurance for their home vehicles or for life insurance, please reach out to him. He's an all-around American veteran, just a good guy, and definitely look him up if you're looking for any kind of insurance. And he supports Inside the HumV podcast, so this section is going to be sponsored by him, and we really appreciate it. Subscribe to my show, and look forward to doing the rest of the show with you. Thanks.
And our first incidents was we were driving down the road and Love got hit in October.
So tell me tell me your point of view, because throughout these podcasts, I want to hear the point of views of everybody that were in these situations with us. So our buddy Andrew Love, he got hit pretty bad in an IED. He survived, but he had a severe brain injury, and he's definitely a different person now. But so he was in Pyle's platoon. Start from kind of the beginning of that night. Let me know, man, whatever you feel comfortable talking about.
Well, we were sitting down there. I was driving. I was in the vehicle. I don't remember all like the.
So you drove past the ID.
Yeah, I was the driver who drove past it, and we sat down there. And I think there was only 3 people in my vehicle at the time. No, 2 people. I was driving. And there was a passenger, and then I think Mowen was in my turret, like. First Sergeant Mowen now, like
yeah, it's wild, man.
Crazy. But we were driving down the road and like we passed over, and the next thing you know, I just hear a big old boom, and I'm like, what? So we stopped, and then I have the guy yelling at me, and I'm trying to sit down there and trying to take care of this vehicle I'm driving because it's garbage. It's like I have to put the gas pedal up and down just to transfer the thing, which. Whatever.
So that was an incident that was already happening throughout the day. You're getting pissed about.
Yep.
Then the ID happens. You go to get out of there, and it's like, oh shit.
Next thing you know, I had to stay in my vehicle because the driver never leaves the thing. So we just sat down there, and then we had to. After a while, we backed up, and we had to figure out what's going on, and then stuff happened, and then we got Love in the vehicle to Bahia. But man, oh man. What a crazy incident that was. It was like our first time getting there and get that happening, and you're like, wow, it's real. Yeah. It's not fake no more. Like you can't go through, and so it was just like that's when my first eye opening was like, this stuff is real.
It's crazy. Yeah, I remember that night because I was on the radio on an OP further into the city, Hambone. He was talking to I believe the COC or someone, trying to explain to them there was an IED planted there. And it wasn't getting transferred properly, and pretty much boom, same thing. I heard the explosion, and then that was a whole wild experience. I can't wait to interview some of the other guys that were there as well for that, and eventually I'll try to get Love in here. But so after the explosion, you guys realize, okay, this is what's happening. What'd you end up doing? Did you guys have to pull out and set up a cordon, or did you just rush right to the Fallujah Surgical with him? Or?
We sat down there and we rushed them to Camp Fallujah, like our vehicle, and then people showed up like QRF and stuff. Because I'm like, and then not realizing this, and then like a little while later, like after Love got hit, I think it was like a couple weeks later that when you guys got hit, when like Brissett and Overstreet.
Yep.
When that went off, and when I was on QRF, and then I had to come up there, so
so
it's
that
just
was
so weird how life, how fast it went.
It did go fast, because I remember for our platoon, like I know Love got hit, and that was the moment where we were like, man, that's kind of real. It's all real. But when our platoon got hit for the first time, it was like a whole set. It was like that's when we really realized as well. Like when I went back and there was 5 empty racks. And we had to pack all their shit up. It was like, wow, this isn't no video game or nothing. This is really happening. These guys are killed and wounded. So when Spencer, or when Frazier and Bristetta and Overstreet and Henry and Sergeant Thomas were all hit, and you were on QRF, so what happened there? Like you guys got the call?
Yeah, we were at
QRF is quick reaction force. So when one platoon is out doing missions, another platoon is on quick reaction force in case an incident happens, like an IED or a firefight. And they need backup.
You gotta keep dressed up and stuff.
Keep your boots on.
Gotta keep all ready, because like you never know when that call is gonna go, and you gotta jump in your vehicle and go.
You gotta be out the door and out the gate.
Like QRF was like sitting down there like a HumV like this. I had to jump in one of these to go over to you guys, and when pulling up to that site was another thing. Like pulling up to there, and there was like the HumV on its side, and I'm like, again, like man, this stuff is like getting real, man. Like this stuff is just like my eyes are. Was just, yep, yeah, pulling over there, doing there, and then I seen like bodies on the ground. I think it was like Overstreet or Bracetta, somebody who was ever in, like somebody got launched out of the vehicle.
That was Henry. Henry got launched pretty good.
So,
Yep. And then that's the incident where Frazier lost his legs. Henry was jacked up pretty good. Bracetta and Overstreet were killed, and Sergeant Thomas was wounded pretty bad. But he's still active duty as far as I know. I'd like to talk to him.
I don't know. I haven't talked to him that guy in a long time.
I think he's like a master sergeant now or something. But so, and then that was kind of early on in our deployment. So that was October 23rd. I believe that's the day. And then after that, what was it like?
Well, then after that, we sat down there, and then we went from doing watch, and then they sent us out to ECP for like a little while, and then that's where I heard that I was at ECP 3 when I heard about you guys on the 28th of December and stuff, because we went over and we're doing checkpoints and stuff for a minute, and then next thing I know, I'm like sitting down and I hear that you guys got hit, and then like that's when Spencer and Eccleston and I think Miller.
Yep, Eskelson and Miller.
And then sitting down there, which is crazy because that time, Zellick, me and him, I graduated high school from Grayling with his sister, Jean, and it was just so weird.
Yeah. Zellick got hit in the leg with like a perfect bullet hole right through his shin bone, man. It was wild.
Yeah.
He had a good. That was a crazy day. That's for sure. That was a crazy day. Zig don't zag,
And that's like the day you got hit too, man. It's crazy, like.
So you were there with Sergeant Ski was in your platoon, right?
Yep.
So what happened that day?
Well, we lost Sergeant Ski on March 27th of 2007. Got hit by a sniper. We were at this. We were supposed to be on a mission and stuff, and next thing you know, we were there for a while. Like a bunch of us were back with like a 7-ton, and then like Gutierrez was there, and Reiser were there with Ski, but I guess he was trying to put some bolt cutters back in the vehicle and got popped and was bent over and got shot in the back. And then, and then I had to go,
Yeah, that was crazy, man. He was a good dude.
Yeah,
Sergeant Ski was awesome.
Sergeant Ski, man, he was a cool guy, man.
Hoorah, brother. Yep, definitely. Great family.
Yeah.
I'd like to go down there more often to the memorial. I try to make my rounds when I can, but it's crazy. I'm glad I can do something like this now and get you guys in here to talk to, because there's all these questions. And we've discussed this over the years many times, all the stuff we've been through. We've experienced the ups and downs of it, and especially when we try to hide all of our pain from what we dealt with other substances or something, and like you've been sober now for what, 2 years? And
yeah, I've been over almost 3 years now. It'd be like I quit drinking July 13th of 2022, because 2025 will be 3 years I quit drinking.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I remember some of those nights. We'll keep all that between us, except for I remember the pain and the times that you think that shit helps, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, you think it helps for you for a minute until you start doing it, and then it just puts you into a worse spiral down.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where there's memes out now where like it'll show combat footage and stuff, and and then it goes, how do you go from this to this, and it shows someone like sitting in traffic or sitting in a cubicle in an office, and that is so real, man. It just hits home, especially thinking about it. Sometimes it feels like it was a movie and so long ago, but sometimes it feels like it was yesterday, and
that's the crazy part. Like, it's just like you think it's like 18 years ago, but it feels like it's just like yesterday that we were in Iraq and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
especially, it's funny, like today we talked to a guy we haven't talked to in a long time, and it was like I just talked to him before a mission, you know?
oh yeah.
And that's one thing I noticed about the brotherhood, and I'm super thankful for that, because like we always got along and we were friends, but we weren't as close as we are now until after the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
When I started hanging out with you more often because of Pete.
Yeah. Well, as
And,
soon as, I remember, like, we started. It's crazy. Like, we got in the unit in 2003, and then next thing you know, we sat down there. And it took us until till Pete passed away, like 9 years ago in 16, that me and Joe really started hanging out. And then I sat down there because we were standing on post doing his casket.
Yep.
And then I had to go to inpatient because of everything. And
Yes. Yep. Pete. So Corporal Mattice, he suffered a traumatic brain injury from some stuff with his service, and there was incidences that they had, and it's something that he dealt with after he was home, and he was having seizures and things because of it. So sorry, my phone's ringing there. So we're having some seizures and stuff. And he ended up having a seizure, and it took him down pretty good. He was in a coma for like 4 days and passed away from that. So I feel like still he died from an injury that he sustained while in combat. It just happened years later, unfortunately, but he's a super cool dude, just the bulldog, you know.
oh yeah, he was the bulldog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have Eccleston that was like an alpha guy and stuff, and then you turn around and you see Pete. Pete was like a bulldog and stuff.
Yeah, I just remember seeing him barking at people all the time, dude. And then
yeah, he was.
yeah,
He was my little buddy.
Yeah, he's super funny, man. I miss Pete. Pete was a good
It's just
dude.
crazy. It was like sitting down there like 9 years ago, and then it happened. Then I just decided to throw on an Ace Fest.
Oh yeah, now you're
It's
working
now
at Ace.
I've been with
dude.
Ace for like 9 years.
Ace
Ain't that
is the
something?
place, the helpful Ray face.
Yep, and then sometimes when I'm sitting down there, I get squirreled away.
You just
Like, I
squirreled
don't
away.
know what happened. That dang squirrel in my brain, dude. He likes to run around.
Yeah.
I think I call it squirrel, but everyone else calls it like military brain or veteran brain or whatever. I just think it's.
Well, like you said earlier when we were talking, you work there because you just want something to do, and and you go there, you do your job, and you go home. You don't stress about stuff. You stay positive. You're one of the most positive people I know, and that's what's so awesome, because even in like crappy times, you're usually smiling.
Well, you gotta smile. You
Yeah.
gotta stay positive. And I'm thankful for like the McLean's Ace and Grayling for giving me the opportunity to start there. Because when I first started there, going from grunt in the Marine Corps to start being an Ace employee is a total changeover.
So for guys that are getting out of the military, say, or something like that, what is one thing you could tell them that would help adjust to going from being like a, kicking indoors or a fire team leader, or there's not as much combat these days, so at the same time, doing a leadership role and something very important, to now all of a sudden you're, working in this job with people that are possibly younger than you, being your boss or something, like how do you adjust to that?
Well, I just look in the positive about it and stuff. Like, I go through it, and I'm not gonna sit down there and like kick it indoors. I'll go in there, and that's why I sit down there and move over to like trying to help out and be positive and stuff with people. You got to find a purpose to do something. Like,
Yep.
if you don't, then you're just gonna suffer. And if you think about the past all the time, and you're gonna suffer. So it's like you're in that little thing of like you don't know what to do, but you got to stay positive, because
Yep.
if you don't, then you're just gonna hurt yourself, and then it's not very good to bring yourself down.
Yeah, and it's good to remember the past and the history and stuff, but at the same time not dwell on it. Not think of the negative things. Like when I think about, all the times we went through things in combat and people got hurt and killed, myself included, I try not to think about the negative aspects of it. I think about the positive. I do wish all those guys would have survived.
Oh, me.
If I could take it back, for sure, I would give my life so those guys could live a life, But at the same time, I have to understand that there are reasons things happen.
And the guy up there, he chooses what we
Amen,
do.
Jesus.
Amen to Jesus, because he's the one who sits down there and he puts us in there. It sucks because not everybody is gonna sit. Not everybody lives that long. Not everybody lives and goes through life. Some people are just. And it's sad because like I wish certain people were still here and stuff, but you know what? It's like it's life, and it's sad because like what I wish it would never happen.
And it's one thing I think about is I see veterans, you know, say like World War II vets, they're old and you know they die, and sometimes people think, okay, you know, yeah, and they give them their respect they deserve for being a veteran. But it's weird. You look at the picture of them from when they served, and they're just a young kid. And then you see them when they're all old, you know, and they pass away, and they pass away as just this old person. But yet, anyone that served understands that. But so like what I like to think about with like the guys that died while we were over there, I wish they could have grown old, but at the same time, they will always be remembered as this young warrior, you know, who gave their life for their country. Yeah. But even though I really wish that they could have grown old and had grandkids and babies and stuff. So it's very, very sad. But like you said, I got to think of the more positive parts that, you know, there's not much positive about losing anyone at all. But knowing that they will be remembered in the history of the United States of America is pretty important.
And it's people like this got carried on. Like we sit down there and it was like 18 years ago for ski and stuff, but you know what? Ski's still there. Ski's still with everybody that he was there with. Yep. And stuff. Like Matthijs, like all these people got close with Matthijs and stuff. He's always gonna be there. He was like, he got into me into my dancing mode and stuff. Like that's what happened to me, man. Pete could dance and do anything and stuff, and I'm like, man, I just watch him and be like, holy cow, like, so.
Yeah, Pete was one of the first veteran. It was the first veteran that I did a casket painting for with Devil Dog Ink and Paint. His wife asked me if I'd paint his casket, and I've discussed it before, I believe. But you know, if anyone wants to see that, they can check it out on my other on my art page stuff. But that was a very humbling experience and like sad but honorable. You know what I mean? And then that got me to the point where then I was able to paint Hambone's casket, and also super sad, but at the same time it was awesome how like veterans come together to help out with it, and the camaraderie. I had guys that didn't even know Hambone show up to help out just because, you know, they respected him and what he did. So that was pretty crazy. But so one thing too, I was going to mention is that you never have had a tattoo, which is crazy. I've been trying for years to con you into getting something cool, but you know, but you're always a big supporter of my artwork, so that's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
He's got the old Devil Dog Ink and Paint hat on right now. Yeah.
No, as I sat down there, like my dad's going to be like 92 on June 7th, and he was a Korean and Vietnam vet. And I sat down there and I was like, he didn't have no tattoos. And then I had an uncle that was a Marine, gunner in Nam, and he got a tattoo on his arm that said USMC, and he was like on a ship or something. And he was just like, man, I wish I never did that right there. And I was just like, why?
So he's stuck like, with you?
He was, because it's like you can't get rid of it. And I was like, well, you're always, it says USMC, you're always a Marine and stuff. He's like, yeah, I just wish I never put no tattoos on my body. And I'm like,
so you just haven't found one yet that you'd ever want to be stuck with forever? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's understandable.
I don't know. I just sit down there, just like, I haven't got the itch, I guess I'd say, for a tattoo. But I love watching your art. You do your art, though, because you are a talented motherfucker, though.
I like to do drawings.
Like you're very good. You're a very good drawer.
Well, appreciate that. I did a little logo for Ray. Him and his ace vest holding a squirrel. I'll make sure I put that on this video somewhere as well.
Because of my squirrely ways, right?
Because of my squirrely ways. Oh. Tell me this story about Stillwagon sitting in poop, because I know they're going to watch this. And so we're going to hear viewpoints of all the times Stillwagon stepped in a pile of human shit as well.
Well, Stillwagon, we were going on a walk, and he stepped in some shit in a shithole.
You guys were going on a walk? We're in fucking Fallujah, bro.
It was a walk. We were going for a walk.
On a gentle nightly stroll.
It was a nightly stroll, too. You know, we went from one place and we walked to another place because we're grunts, dude. We walk.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Sometimes we ride more.
Yeah, it was more like a mission, possibly, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it
or
was.
what-
It was a mission.
You know, were you guys delivering pizzas and shit?
Yeah, man. We were going from the train station to the water treatment plant, and when we walked from there to there, that's when.
And it was like just like a booby trap, huh? He just stepped there and
Yeah.
boom.
He smelt it.
I can't wait to have you in here still, Wagon,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about you stepping in poop.
He's just gonna love it. He's
Yeah.
gonna be like,
That's funny. If you guys are watching this right now, I want your wife to hit you in the nuts.
Aaron, we love you.
Yes. Oh, man, that's awesome. Those guys are great. We're going to have to get some more stickers made. They started doing the ones for the Troy stickers. If no one's seen the Troy stickers yet, we did a little bobblehead of Troy, and Kyle Stillwagon got that bad boy like right on his butt cheek. And that's what gave us the idea of stickers for Troy. Because, you know, I'm going to have him in here one of these days, too.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking to them about getting you to do a little Ray.
Little Ray.
That's what happened with Ray. Ray came out.
So, what does being an American mean to you?
American means to me I'm living free in this world, even though this world is America is land of the free because of people like us, brave people going out there and fighting for it.
Yep.
And to keep America going and stuff. And we just got to fight because America is the land of the free, and we got to keep it free.
Yeah.
So we got to stay America. Bro.
America. Yeah. So, like, what do you think of when say you hear the national anthem and you're looking at a flag? What's some things that go through your head?
Well, things go through my head is I served this country and watched men die over things that we Americans fought hard to keep this land free. So I just love America, the red, white, and the blue.
You are definitely one of the most patriotic American veterans ever, that's for sure.
Well, I try to stay America.
Hell yeah. It's pretty awesome, man, because it's weird, too, like, when, like, some people, I don't know, I'd like to ask more people what they think about when they're staring at the flag and the national anthem. Some people don't even think about it. Some people just do it. But whenever I hear it or I see a flag flown in the wind or something, you know, it's almost emotional sometimes because it's like you think about the meaning of all those stars and stripes, you know what I mean? And you think of the blood that went into them. And I always think about when he wrote the national anthem, the story behind that of the American patriots just holding the flag up while they're getting bombed, and you know, missiles coming in and gunshots and cannon fire, all that stuff, you know, not necessarily like modern day missiles, but shit was blowing up.
Oh yeah.
And by the end of the day, there was just a pile of bodies because everyone kept holding this pile. Emotionally traumatic humor. And fucking pile of bodies. But yeah, man, they just, you know, it's like for them to go out there and hold that flag up high so people knew that they were not surrendering or tired or giving up and willing to die right there on the spot just to hold that flag from hitting the ground is pretty amazing, dude. And I think everyone needs to think of that more often sometimes.
Well, you need to push through. That's what America is about. America is about pushing through. Like that's why I say stay positive and stuff, because when all the negative stuff comes in, if you stay positive, you're just pushing through stuff.
Yeah.
So
like, and there's truth to that when people say, you know, if you tell yourself, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Really, you're not going to be able to do it because your brain is trained so that you can't do it. But if you can tell someone you can do this, you can do this, you know, you can. You're going to keep trying, at least. Keep trying. Yeah. Not I can't, I'm going to keep trying, or I'm going to do this. Like yesterday, for example, I was with my daughter shooting her crossbow, right? She's been getting into this crossbow shooting, but she couldn't pull it back. And I was like, you want me to do that for you? She's like, no, I got it. And she's trying. Her fingers are getting red. And I'm like, I got a rope you can use to, you know, and it's not one you really need a rope for. You can use your hands, but she was struggling with it, and she wouldn't let me do it. And I kept telling her, you just got a little further to pull, you know. And she kept trying, and eventually, she was able to pull it. And then from there, she was able to pull it and you know, cock the crossbow every time, even though it was hard. but she knew when she got to the point where she felt like she should quit, if she just pulled a little harder, she would make it. And I told her, I said, that's a pretty awesome life lesson right there. You know, like, it's if all those things like that accumulate through someone's life is what makes them successful. If they have, you know, if they never have a moment where they have to push so hard that they don't, you know, that they want to quit, but they keep going, then they will never know how far they can really go. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you have a ton of moments, you know, especially, I mean, starting from, you know, just making it through high school to a point, and then in the Marine Corps, making it through boot camp, and then infantry school, and then, you know, going to war, and then family life, trying to deal with family life, and, you know, and it's like, it's all something that's going to push you to that point where you're like, oh man, I should just stop. And then you're like, no, I can't. I got to go because I know I can do it. I've done some pretty hard shit before, and I made it through just by not quitting, so I'm pretty sure I can make it through this. And unfortunately, that's when people decide to end themselves, is because they've, I don't know, man, if they've used up all their I cans and, you know, I can do it or what, but it's like, I've talked to so many people who've come to that point and didn't do it, and later on realized how thankful they are that they didn't do it, because all they had to do was get past that super shitty time. You know?
And it sucks. It sucks. Like you get out and then you sit down there, and we went through all that stuff, and there's a lot of more veterans that went out there and done that stuff too, but like went out and done war and stuff, and we all have to push through it and stuff.
Done war.
It's not like we sat down there and we were sitting down there and just, you got to push through things. That's what the Marine Corps does, like repetition, like on your, doing your rifle and stuff. When something happened, then it was like this. So if you like repetition, give up and stuff, then you're going to be giving up. So if you keep pushing yourself forward, as the Marine Corps taught you in repetitions and stuff, then guess what? Muscle memory will take over and push yourself through.
Yep. Wish I had a bigger wiener. I'm not even editing that out.
They had this little inflator thing for you.
Heard the VA might do that for people.
Yeah.
Put a little pump in there. We were doing a class with First to Fight Tactical Solutions, CPL class, and there was a lady from the VA talking about how they apply pumps to some dudes, and they just like pump up their wang, dude, and
pump it up.
So then the rest of the class, that's all we could just ask questions about. You know, like if they can get certain models for that, you know, and if anyone ever requests an Asian model,
it's gonna be
they
like
don't.
It's gonna be like those Reebok pumps.
Yes. I'm like, so what happens when you deflate this thing? You know, it's like
you got a side thing, you just go
just hook a tire gauge up to it, you know, or that'd be pretty wild. So like, what has your experience been since you've been home? Like when you first got home. Like, what's that first year like after you first got home?
It was weird. It was, I don't know,
weird.
So different. Like going from like being in Iraq for like almost a year and stuff to coming home, and then people getting upset with you over things that you had no control, like over, like calling baby killers and stuff. Like, we never went over and killed babies.
I've never killed a baby.
So I don't understand why people like have that thing against people that go to war. It's just a stereotype. Like, oh, you went to war, you're a baby killer. No, you're not. Like, never once did I go over there to kill a baby.
Yeah.
Like,
and if we ever had to kill anyone, it's because they were trying to kill us, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
It's not like gonna sit down there and be like, oh, you can shoot at me, that's all right. But it's just like, that's what makes me upset and stuff, like when people sit down there and call like war veterans baby killers, because like none of us are go over there to do that. And so when people say you can't, you're like, that's not what we are.
And yeah, because like everyone has their own reason to serve, you know. Some people are like, oh, I wanted to see the world, oh, I wanted to go to college, you know, oh, I wanted to do this or that. Like everyone has their own reason, you know. So it's like no one just goes to war. I was gonna say no one goes to war just to shoot bad guys, but there's definitely people that join just with the hopes of shooting bad guys.
Well, you know, once you go to war, it's kind of hard to take away from you.
It is hard to take away, and then that's one thing too. Is like I notice, like being a combat veteran, I don't ever think, oh, I can't wait till shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? Because I don't want shit to hit the fan and risk losing like you or one of my other buddies or something. You know what I mean? Because if shit hits the fan, there's a good chance that people are also going to get hurt. And you know,
that's part of war is and stuff, and that's the sad part about war.
Hey, so I'm also going to bring up that story of when you when you were in the chow hall in Iraq and you were trying to send lewd photos home and
I was trying to do something wrong. I had my phone. I didn't have a phone. I had a camera. I had Carrier's camera with me.
Kodak
and stuff.
Easy Share camera or something.
Yep, play around with it and set it up to a timer on there. So then I would just sit down there and timer it up and send it to Michelle. Well, I forgot to delete it from the computer, and then next thing you know, Lewis decided to get on the computer and pulled it up, and they all just seen the Pyle smile.
Yeah, they did. There's some funny stories like that, man. I remember dudes getting busted rubbing one out, you know, like. Guy, I remember Hambone busted into the porta-john one time. He had to take a shit, and there was one of the captains sitting on the shitter, dude, just going to town, and he just like looks at Hambone. He's like, Hambone's like, sorry, sir. Shuts the door, walks off. There's a lot of downtime, dude. You got to do stuff to stay busy.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like those funny stories like that, dude. So, what are some of these stories like with Pete? Because seeing how Pete passed away, so we can pretty much talk about whatever story we want that involves Pete, and he won't get in trouble about it. So, what some of these tell me the first time you seen Pete run across the road in his skivvy shorts, or something like that.
Well, he was sitting down there. I'm in my room. And he decided to knock on my door in the hotel room, open the door, standing butt naked, runs in my room, runs around the thing, jumps out, runs down the hall. And I was just like, are you serious? Well, you know about the bulldog. You know Pete's bulldog?
No, let me hear it. These guys know about the bulldog.
Well, Pete, they call him the bulldog because this guy right here would take his sack, push it back, and he'd stand in front of you like this with his butt cheeks out with his sack right there, and that'd be the bulldog.
He'd be like, hey, Pyle, look.
Yep.
You look up, all of a sudden,
you look right here, you see ass and balls. You're like, no!
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
I remember people sleeping, like, stacking rocks on them, to see how many rocks we could stack on someone before they woke up, or tying their bootlace to the rifle stack.
Or sitting down there making like a MRE bomb and waking them up.
Oh, the MRE bombs are always cool. We got any cool MRE bomb stories?
We took one of them and we put an MRE in it and we put some tobacco sauce in there and it made it like a steamer, man. And all you could...
Oh, yeah, dude. Pete did that to me. He did that to me. Here. He was showing me that. He takes the water, put the Tabasco sauce in there and poked holes in it, and he like threw it in the garage. And I'm just like, the next thing you know, I was like, what the hell is that? My eye started burning. He's like, yeah, tear gas. Yeah, I remember that. Holy shit, dude, that worked out great. That stuff worked great. I'm like, I wish I'd have known how to do that. I was always just blowing the water bottles up.
Sometimes we would do that when we were sitting down there, like we'd come up on somebody on post and stuff that was like sleeping or something, wasn't paying attention. You go up there and get them a little tobacco sauce seasoning.
Yeah, because it
wake them up.
Steams it right out, man.
Yeah, it wakes them right up. You put that on there like this, and they're sleeping. You wake up.
Yeah,
it's like if they're sleeping, their mouth's back and put tobacco
sauce in. Yeah, that was always fun. If anyone wants to try that at home, good old Tabasco sauce in the mouth. I remember Spencer. He didn't give a shit. I dumped a bunch of Tabasco sauce in his mouth. He just wakes up and he's like, goes back to sleep. I'm like, dang.
That's what keeps me going and stuff, like the stories and the things and hanging out with veterans and stuff, because like you always get a good laugh when you think about some of the things that we've done in the past. Like you're like, wow, did I really live through all that? Like, whoa.
Yeah, right.
Like, and again, if like you sit down and if you live through that, then guess what? You can just move on because
you lived through
a lot of that was bad stuff. Like,
what do you think as far as like being in the Humvee, like the first time you got in this Humvee or whatever, or as far as like sitting here talking like this in it, do you feel like it's like a healing type experience at all?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, it's a healing experience because it's a sit down. There's like something that we're used to and like. getting stuck in one of these in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
As me driving.
This one's a little more comfortable because you can.
Yeah,
you can do this.
Yeah, this
Can't
one's
do that.
This
Can't
one's
do
way,
that in the old Iraq Humvee.
No, this one's a lot better than the ones over there. But like, it's just, it's nice.
Yeah. America.
Yeet.
Yeet. So there's a couple things that we'll just take a break here just to mention a few of the sponsors that I wanted to mention. I got like I said earlier, First to Fight Tactical Solutions, www.ftfts.com. You can go to them for all your tactical needs and ammo seeds, that good stuff. He's based out of DeWitt, Michigan. And then I want to also thank Camotech Systems as usual for their Go and Glow controller box and helping the Humvee stay on the road. What is it now? What do you think the military has done for you as far as like being a husband and a dad?
It's like trying to control like a fire team, because like I have 3 people now, and so now I have a fire team in my. So it's like you gotta make sure that your family's safe.
Yep.
So.
Yep, and that's one way to do it for sure is the leadership aspect that you learn in the military or an important job like that. Definitely shows you how important it is to take care of the person to the left and right of you. And when you're a family man, that's the people that become the left and right. You
gotta take care of your family.
You gotta take care of your family.
Served 8 years in the Marine Corps. Like you served in there and then you got out. But it's kind of weird going from like reservist and then active duty, because I sit down and I've talked to the veterans that are active duty and stuff, and the thing that always reminds me and stuff, they're going, man, it's so crazy you reserve units and stuff, because you reserve units are so close, because like a lot of you guys went there, like active duty, like they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Like they have people that they don't even see no more, and like I'm thankful that I have like you that I can come down and hang out with and stuff, and other Marine Corps vets and stuff I can talk to, because like we did a lot of cool stuff, and it's cool that we can talk and be so close together. It's
helpful for sure. It is very helpful, and that's one reason why I got into doing what I do, is because I needed a way to stay busy and keep my head straight, and I was like, man, how can I get my buddies to hang out with me? And this is a new reason. I've everyone's getting all tattooed out or old, and they don't want to get them, and stuff like that. So I'm like, what? How can I get Ray to come hang out with me for a while without getting a tattoo? You hang out anyways, but now I got you in like one spot to just talk and
instead of like out in out.
Yeah, that sounds kind of erotic, I guess there, but that's why the Humvees are so wide, and because you can't cross the line. All right, you might be able to step on it, but you can't cross it. All right, man, I am so glad we never got gassed by anything. Oh. Everyone would have been like, there would have been one dude with a fucking gas mask. Everyone else is like busting out beef jerkies and shit, stuffing them in their nostrils or something. Who knows?
I have my gas mask.
Did you? Not me. I was like, I'm getting rid of this thing. I'm filling it full of snacks.
No, I was just sitting down there. I had to have my stuff. Like, I was just.
You're locked on? Is what you're saying?
I wasn't locked on, but I just tried to I didn't want to get yelled at, so I kept my stuff together.
I wasn't locked on, but I didn't want to get yelled at. So it's like being locked on, but not quite locked on,
I guess so.
Yeah, so, but, so as always, I really appreciate you guys checking out the videos. I appreciate you guys listening to our conversation. And, don't forget to subscribe and like my videos just because it helps. And I really want to be able to get more of these stories out there and more of this stuff heard. So if anyone is interested in helping out with the podcast, let me know. You can reach me at Inside the Humvee Podcast, www.insidethehumvee.org. We can contact you and sign up, see if you'd like to get an interview. We'd also like to hear your story as well. If you got a veteran, American patriot, or first responder, or someone who has like a good story of survival or just patriotism, we'd definitely like to get them in here and discuss it. And as always, bro, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me today and going through this next episode. So I'm looking forward to seeing how everything else goes, and looking forward to see the rest of your future. And you're getting old now, so I know you don't have much longer, but
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, right. You got those good genes, man. You're gonna live to be about 110, dude. And, eventually, I'll learn how to, put these videos together a lot smoother. So, just bear with me. I'm a grunt.
Hey.
I'm still trying to figure out how to unwrap the crayons.
You're doing a repetition way, man. You got repetition.
Repetition.
It's gonna get better and better and better.
Exactly. Positivity.
You're right.
Yes.
America.
America.